And so just so you guys know, the format, so I'm going to just give a little context setting to kind of why we're here, what the context is. I think we've gotten a decent introduction to why it's important, but we'll get to the real reason why we're here, which is the panelists. We have a really good cross-section across multiple capabilities, multiple industries, and each one's going to represent a really unique view to what ultra-connected logistics, to what fleet management, and to what autonomous vehicles can certainly provide. I think, when I look at this whole topic, autonomous vehicles to me is, I think, what gets people's blood flowing. It's a really interesting idea. The logistics are actually where people are going to make money, but the idea of the autonomous vehicles is a fascinating thing to debate and to explore. So just to begin, you look at any kind of connected system, fundamentally it boils down to a series of actions that technology facilitates across something. So when we look back, there's kind of a fundamental underpinning, at least in my opinion, to any IoT system, which is basically that there's an ecosystem of partners that are involved. If you guys want to come up to me afterwards and tell me something that fits this, but I don't think there's a single solution out there where a single company can provide all the components, the technology, and the capabilities to provide an end-to-end system. It simply doesn't exist. So you have to have partners. So when we started thinking about this a few years ago, what we realized is, like any good consultant, you have to have a good picture to be able to understand where are we talking about things at any given stage. So we created what's up here called the information value. Pretty simple concept. It just basically tracks an IoT journey from start to end. So you begin with create, actually just kind of shifted down one section here. That's basically sensors. Sensors out in the ether somewhere that detect some sort of condition, anomaly, whatever it may be, that exceed or whatever, some sort of threshold or parameter that's predefined. So the sensor then will say, okay, so there's an abnormal vibration, increased temperature in a vehicle. Okay, so that's the sensor's responsibility. Now it needs to tell somebody. So now it communicates, step 2. So this is where the telcos come in. I'm a telco guy, this is where my heart kind of lives. But basically, there needs to be either some sort of wired or wireless connectivity. And when you think about it, we often talk about wireless as the key here, but wired is just a key. So Dick, who manages some software controls, distribution centers and everything else, will kind of represent, I think, what's one element of connectivity, which is the local kind of Wi-Fi through broadband element. Then when trucks are on the road, we've got Susan from AT&T and I'm from Verizon, who manage kind of the broad connectivity. So that's communicate. Third's aggregate. Somehow you've got to get data from all these sensors into a single location and be able to even just prepare the data to be analyzed. So, not an easy effort, especially considering all the systems involved. You've got the ability to analyze the data. So you need some sort of analytics platform. There's all sorts of vendors out there. IBM certainly is a big one. To be able to produce something that's actionable. And then finally, the Holy Grail, act. So this is where a lot of organizations fall short. They put in place all sorts of technology components to be able to do something. If you can't make a rational decision based on the input provided, all the technology is basically useless. So when we look at transportation, what's interesting to me is the following. There's been a lot of advancements today. So, in speaking to a lot of people within the transportation community, you speak to truck drivers. Right now, there's all sorts of things that track their vitals, their time behind the wheel. If they cross a lane, that'll be notified back to the headquarters. And guess what? That's going to be kind of a remedial action. That's, when they get to the destination, they get a call. The whole point here is as we evolve, you won't need to do remedial action. You control the environment to get to a point to where you don't even need necessarily the driver or to track the driver, and you don't need to have that kind of tracking system to see if something crossed the line, because it shouldn't, and hence, everything becomes more efficient. You can extend this just, and I'm going to hurry up here. You can extend this through the performance, through owner and sharing models. Obviously, in the personal space, there's a lot of future vision towards more shared vehicle ownership as opposed to pure vehicle ownership. And obviously, intermodal transportation, which I think Dick will help top this. Fleet management markets potential with $28 billion worldwide by 2021. And actually, one of the things, I don't know if you guys saw it, Phil sent an email earlier this week. One of the biggest automotive technology companies, Mobileye, was bought by Intel for $13.5 billion. And just to put it as a point of reference, the Israeli high-tech community has long been a hotbed for really good talent and really good products. This is their largest ever acquisition out of the high-tech industry ever. So if that isn't enough to sort of inspire you that this is an important topic, I don't know what. Huh?
That's what I bought into.
Bob's treating us to drinks later. Here's the rub though, data. So everyone knows the value lies in data. Is that an easy thing? I'll ask the panelists that in just a few moments. Well, let me cut to the chase. No, it's not. But basically, I mean, it's interesting because it's really easy to talk about, it's really hard to implement. So you've got things, just the ability to aggregate data, the ability to analyze it. And once you have that, because if you go back to what we started with, the ecosystem concept, some ecosystem members may be willing to share data, but others aren't. All of a sudden, you could have the best technical components in the world, but if you don't have a standard agreement and understanding amongst the providers, it doesn't matter how good the technology is, the system won't work. I've seen multiple multi-million dollar deals go off the rails when it finally gets to the lawyers. The two biggest things are usually limitation of liability and intellectual property. Those things will absolutely derail the preeminent technology you can ever put together for a system. So this is not a light topic. But if you can do it right, there's a lot of benefit at the end. If you look at these 4 phases, the first 2 descriptive, what happened, fine, my car overheated, it tells me it overheated, I get that. Why? My car's not so good, but some systems are good at doing that. The Holy Grail is really be able to say predictive. When will this happen? So I don't need to wait for smoke to start coming out of my engine. When will this happen? And then prescriptive, even better. Before that even happens, some system knows that it's going to happen. A truck pulls up to me, they provide some sort of solution for me, and that whole end state scenario of me overheating never even happens. So you control your environment, you control your parameters. And then just a quick note, because as Andre mentioned, I serve in a global role. So I was actually at a World Congress a few weeks ago. Fantastic event, by the way. And what's interesting to me is I try to apply the same model that we anticipate in the US, and it's difficult. There are countries out there, because so much of it is based on sort of a formal structure on roadways. You have very clearly defined roadways, very clearly defined lanes, very clearly defined laws that govern the vehicles on those things. You get to other countries, many of those components begin to break down. When lanes are merely a suggestion, how do you program that in? And it's interesting, to me, the biggest hurdle to overcome is not the vehicle itself, it's the vehicle next to the autonomous vehicle and the human driver behind that. And you'll actually see in Mobileye's announcement, they allude to this, that the biggest challenge is building enough intelligence into the autonomous vehicle so that it acts almost like a human. So it's still safe, but it will take enough risks so that a human doesn't just go through, because I know if I pull up to an autonomous vehicle, if I veer towards it, it'll slow down. Boom, there's a spot for me, right? So I mean, it's, but Mobileye actually has the foresight and forethought to say we've got to account for that. And they build that into their software to say it has to be a little aggressive and doesn't just let someone in if you're a little bit too. So anyways, when we look globally, I anticipate there's going to be a fairly significant lag. I think the US is really going to be in the lead here, simply because we have the most well-established and defined transportation system in the world. But it's certainly exportable to similar type countries and similar regions around the world. So with that,